Hi there. My name is Charlotte, and welcome to the Oxbridge Formula. Today we have with us Sophie, who is a second-year chemist at Magdalen College. Sophie, thank you so much for being here today.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
So, just before we get started, I want to remind you all that here at the Oxbridge Formula, we offer a variety of in-depth online and interactive courses to best prepare you for Oxford admissions, tests, and interviews. For more information on our online video solutions and holiday courses, the link will be in the description down below. Today, we're going to delve into what college life is like at Oxford and ask our real-life students some questions that you may have when trying to choose a college. So, Sophie, cast your mind back. You are a young applicant back in the good old days. What were you looking for when you chose a college?
What was I looking for? Number one, that they did my course. I'm a chemistry student, so very important to make sure, because not every college does. And then also important is I'm fairly lazy when it comes to moving about the city, so I wanted to make sure that it was close to the department, close to the centre of town, and I had a look at who the tutors were, and I also had a look to see what the accommodation situation was. And Magdalen is fantastic because they offer, for my degree is 4 years long, and for all 4 years I know I'm going to be living on site in Magdalen accommodation, which is fantastic.
Nice. Well, thank you. So you say that the accommodation was quite an important consideration for you. Can you tell me a bit about what Magdalen accommodation is like? Like, what can you expect in your Magdalen college room?
Oh, what can you expect? Well, let me see. In your first year, you'll probably be living over the other side of the Magdalen Bridge in what we call the Wainfleet building. So I think about half people in the Wainfleet building have sinks and the other half have views. That's how they decided to do it. And then the rest of the time, you'll always have like a sink, a desk, a bed, all of that good stuff. You might be living inside the Magdalen College walls 1 year and then might be across the road the next year, but like you'll always be super, super close. We have shared kitchens and mostly shared bathrooms, but there are a couple of en suites. And the way the accommodation is done is we ballot. So basically you get a random number going into your second year, and then in your third year that's reversed. So even if you get a really low number in your second year, you'll make sure that you get a really good room in third year.
Nice. And what has your experience of Magdalen accommodation been like? Have you had nice rooms? Did you like it?
Oh, I mean, actually, I think I've been really lucky. No, I think I've been really lucky. So I came in my first year, I was living in the Wainfleet building, which actually has some really big rooms, and I had a lovely view across onto college. Like, it was so nice. And also there was a river in front of it, so I could see I used to see like little kingfishers, like the kind of picturesque. And then in my second year, I got quite low in the ballot, and I thought I'd be really disappointed, but I actually really liked my room. And I live just across the street from the Magdalen Ball, which means that I'm not technically like on the site, but I'm just as close, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And nice. I actually love it. I basically live in a house like 30 people. We all have like a big room. My room has like got loads of natural light. It's quite cozy. I'll give you that. It's quite cozy. But because I got quite low this year, that means that next year I'm living in like a massive room. I have two rooms. I have like a reception room with a sofa.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's so nice. And I just think like, honestly, I'm going to have such a good time. And it's such a nice balance that you get, because you always know you're going to have like, I mean, for the baseline is always going to be a fantastic room. And then from there, you can really only go up. So wherever you get on the ballot, it's going to be fair.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. That's great to hear.
Oh yeah,
and because
definitely.
the accommodation's balloted, does that mean it all costs the same for everyone? Nice.
Yeah, so we have a flat rate, and that rate has been fixed for quite a few years now. So one thing that might be known about Magdalen is that the college does have quite a lot of money, and it's interesting the ways that this kind of affects like the college life, because it means that like food is subsidised, rent has been subsidised for a long time, we have a load of travel grants, book grants, all that kind of good stuff. Like our library is super new and refurbished, and like the librarians can get in any book and all that kind of stuff. And like most importantly, our rent has been fixed for quite a few years, so it's a really decent rate. And because it's balloted, like you said, it's going to be the same rate kind of throughout. And also, if you need any help with like paying for your rent, for example, we have loads of like scholarships and bursaries, and we have like emergency funds if you need that and all that kind of stuff. So you never really have to worry about it.
No, that's really wonderful. Have you like used any like grants from college? Have you been on any moneyed misadventures funded by Magdalen?
Have I been on any moneyed misadventures? Oh, that's quite funny. So I personally use quite a bit of the what we call the VAC grants. So VAC grants are if you need to stay in college kind of over the vacation. Again, they'll further subsidise your room rent.
Nice.
Yeah, which has been fantastic. And then on kind of more one-off things, so we have a support fund, which goes through once a term, and I got into a bit of a tricky financial situation basically 2 terms ago, and it was just a lifeline for me. You just had to go in, I mean, you had to submit like some financial documents, explain why you needed it, but I actually found the process really easy and it really helped me out. And then with reference to any calamitous adventures, so actually the way Charlotte and I met is that we went on a scholarship. We got a scholarship in first year to go study at Stanford, and it was such good fun. And again, that was all paid for, like flights, food, accommodation, everything was paid for. And it was so much fun. And it was just an example of like, I had no idea that thing even happened.
No,
like I had no idea when I applied that like Magdalen was one of these colleges where you could go to Stanford. But yeah, we went to Stanford.
There's like 3 colleges in Oxford that offer this, and we ended up at them by accident.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and I feel like one of the things I almost wish college would do more is like share how much support they do have, because they to outside applicants, because when you get in they're like, we have this and this and this and this, and you have to worry about this or that, and I'm like, this is fantastic. So yeah,
that's why it's great to hear you talking about it, like spread the knowledge, spill that financial tea.
Absolutely. Thing is, it is just important as well, and I think like to make sure that like the whole food is like affordable, and not to have to ever deal with like landlords or any of that kind of thing. Like it's such a peace of mind as well.
Yeah, so it's a security, isn't it, knowing you'll always have somewhere to live.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So we've been talking about the food a little bit now. Let us dive in, because we're filming this at 6 p.m. and I don't know about you, I'm hungry. So you mentioned you do have shared kitchens at Magdalen. How many people are you sharing with, would you say?
I'd say it really depends, because Magdalen, if you can get a chance to visit, it's beautiful. We have loads and loads of old buildings, which means that, and you'll be living in them, which means that it can be a little bit inconsistent. But it also means, because we have this ballot and that kind of thing where you can pick which rooms you want, if you're really into cooking, like I am, you can pick like a house that has like a big kitchen, for example. So this year I've been living in a house with 30 people, and we have one kitchen, which sounds crazy when you think about it, but the kitchen is huge. It's like 3 hobs, 3 ovens, like a couple of sinks there, like a giant table. Like I've had the best time. I've made so much like risotto and that kind of thing. And then next year, for example, I'll be living in a building that only has like kind of one small kitchen, but actually that works out really nicely for me, because whole food is like really affordable. And next year I'll be taking my finals, so I don't want to spend, I'm probably not imagining spending too much time like, making up new creations in the kitchen. On the whole, I don't know. I think 30 people to a kitchen is fairly standard. And I think that number kind of freaks people out. But then, people cook at different times. Some people are really into it. Some people aren't, and like we all kind of respect the kitchens. So like, it's never been a problem for me.
Yeah, no, I've definitely chatted to a few people who are like, I own 1 spoon and 1 pan I bought yesterday. Some people are super into whole food. No, it's so interesting that you do prefer to cook for yourself and take on that challenge.
I think it's not a criticism of whole food at all. It's more like, when it's raining, I don't want to cross the road. Like it's like a lazy point from my view. And like, I think because I've always been really into cooking, like I know people who've never cooked like once at all at Magdalen, and I know people who cook every single day. Like, and I think the really nice thing is, because it's pay as you go whole food, that you just have that option. Yeah. I think.
No, certainly. Though some colleges are pay in advance. You'll pay for like a number of meals over term. Do you think the system works well? I can't talk. Do you think the system works well at Magdalen? Do you like the pay as you go?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think it gives us like so much flexibility, I think. And so what we actually have is I don't know if you talked about bod cards before.
No, go for it.
So we have like student IDs. Everyone at Oxford has them, but at Magdalen, what we do is you can preload cash onto your bod card, which means that you don't even have to carry cash around. But it's not kind of like you'd have to load a certain amount on there or anything like that. And it means that like you can always just like nip to. We have the hall. We also have a cafe on site that kind of operates during the day. We have pizza at the bar, and you can also use your bod card at the bar as well. and just that kind of super flexible, you know, you don't even worry about carrying a wallet. All you need is this card, and you can get through college, you can buy all your food. Like, yeah, it makes a huge difference. And I much prefer the pay-as-you-go system, because like there are some weeks when I just cannot be bothered to cook, and I'll, you know, eat every meal in hall, and then some weeks I'll have like the real, you know, impetus to just you know make that risotto, and then I won't have seen hall for a week. And like, yeah.
Nice. So how would you rate like the selection of variety in hall during one of your hall weeks? Do you feel pretty satisfied?
It's interesting actually, because I was a vegetarian throughout my first year, and I was really worried about like coming to college and, you know, not being able. I think that's maybe why, like, I've always been really into cooking, because I know that like obviously vegetarian food isn't necessarily well catered for, but they always have a vegetarian option, sometimes two, you know, sometimes we have 3 vegetarian options. It's going to be a veggie day, you know.
What?
I know.
Huge. Do you have like a special veggie day? Because I know at Brasenose we have meat-free Wednesdays.
I thought it was actually Mondays. That's so interesting.
Regents, it's Mondays. We're on Wednesdays. Love a Wednesday.
Oh, you're cool like that. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Indeed.
Do we have a special? I don't think we have like a specific day, which I think is a kind of signal of like the food menu like really does change up a lot. I think. I can't think of a specific day. Just sometimes you rock up, you're like, oh, cool. I have more options than normal. But like, there's always one, you know. And like, I have a friend who's vegan, and they always cook some stuff for her. Like, you know, they're super good on like dietary requirements and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I've never been that disappointed with the food, to be honest. The portions are huge. The portions are really good.
That's good to know.
Like,
nice. Do you feel like you're getting your money's worth when you're in there?
Oh yeah, definitely. And like, also because you can often like self-serve the sides, which is a dangerous thing when there are like chips on offer, and you're like, I'm only paying for 1 portion of chips, as you pay out like a little mountain of chips.
Genius.
Yeah.
I have heard of people hiding hash browns under baked beans at brunch. I know, it happens.
What, are you saying this happens at our college?
I could not say.
I haven't witnessed this behaviour. Actually, it's interesting that you bring up brunch, because I know that some colleges have like college catered brunch, but what we do is that we have breakfast, like 8 to 9:30 breakfast, I think, every morning, Monday to Saturday, and then on Sunday the kitchen staff get like the morning off, so they don't have to do brunch, they don't have to do anything. So instead the students cook brunch.
Really? Oh, that's so fun.
It's actually so much fun. So they get paid to do it, because obviously they're taking on a catering role. And what happens is they go out and buy the ingredients, and they get paid, you know, a standard wage per hour. And what happens is that you divide the total cost of the groceries by how many people turn up, which means that sometimes you can just like pile up the halloumi, pile up the hash browns, and then you're paying like 60p for it. It's so good.
That's incredible. Also, halloumi at brunch. Love that.
Oh yeah, it's like halloumi, avocados, bagel, all that good stuff.
Ooh, oh my
Actually,
God.
I say breakfast in hall, I think, is my favourite meal, which is so boring, because it's like, I guess it's like the same thing every day.
Hey, breakfast food is valid. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Breakfast food is so good. Yeah.
Nice. And have you ever done that? Have you ever been brunch chef?
No, I'm too scared. I think.
Sophie, you just spent this whole time saying how you can cook. What the hell?
You know, it's funny. I think, why have I never been the brunch chef? I'm now soul searching. I've never been the brunch chef because.
Why have I never been brunch chef? A psychological analysis by Sophie.
Right. So first of all, it's like, it's a role that you like hold for the entire year. It's like brunch chef. And so that means that like, you know, you have a consistent income throughout the year. Like the team gets going, you know, who's like on the rota to cook brunch. And I've never personally volunteered for that, because Sunday morning is my lion. And I don't know. I'm not a good morning person. And obviously to make brunch, like brunch is at 10:45, but I'd have to wake up at like 9. And I don't want to do that.
Oh, how could you? Oh, Sophie, outrageous.
I know, I say this as someone who has lectures at 9, which I definitely
You're a chemistry student. What are you playing at?
Because I go to lectures at 9 during the week, and then the weekend I have my lions. You know,
That's understandable.
You've got to make some sacrifices.
No one can begrudge you that, honey. That's fine. When you're not, you know, sleeping in maybe through brunch then, tell me about formal hall during the week. What does formal hall at Magdalen look like?
Formal hall is so good. It's so much fun. So we have formal hall 4 nights a week, I think.
That's a lot.
Which I think is more than most colleges.
Yeah, I thought
we always have like
3.
And that's a lot, but not as much as Magdalen. So we always have like normal hall, dinner, because I know that some colleges don't, but we always have like a hall dinner, like if you want to go to that, and that's pay as you go. Whereas for formal hall, what you do is you book in advance, and like we're quite like fancy about it. Like it's black tie on Sundays, but the rest of the week it's like smart, I don't know, business casual or something, I don't know, like it's formal, everyone wears their gowns, like it's because I know that I went to a formal at like some other colleges and people were wearing jeans, like that just no,
that's
like,
the Brasenose vibe, to be fair. We wear the gown, so then you can wear jeans under your gown. You get away with it. I know.
This is the only bit of maudlin snobbery you're going to get throughout the whole thing. Actually, this is the thing, like, you know, I have one dress, like, just to make that very clear, I have one dress and I've worn it to every formal hall, and like it's just so much fun to just like dress up, you know, and it can be a really casual thing. Like I tend to go for like people's birthdays, you know, sometimes all the chemists will get together and like celebrate the end of term with a formal, and then we have like loads of like special formals. So kind of like for like St Andrew's Day, St David's Day, we also have like Founders Day, President, I don't know, they're always in, you know, sports formals, music formals, I don't know, it's the way we celebrate things at Magdalen. It's the way we celebrate things, you know, and like you book in advance with like, you know, maybe you need to have it halal, maybe you want to be vegetarian, vegan, whatever, like you just put down your dietary requirements, you know, they serve you. During the week you can bring your own wine, and on Sunday they will serve it to you, I think. Nice. No, on special ones they'll serve it to you if you drink, and you also get a glass of port afterwards on a Sunday. And Sunday ones are the best because they're black tie and the choir sings.
Formal?
Yeah.
Wow, that is fancy. Okay, I want to come to a Magdalen formal. Can I book in?
I was going to say, we're going to do Magdalen. Come to a Magdalen formal. It's so much fun. Yeah. And it's also so nice. Have you talked about like formal swapping before? Because that's something that like...
No, just before we do, how much are formals at Magdalen? Would you say they're quite well priced for what you get?
I think it really varies. Basically, they like I think we have a formal on Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And so on Wednesday, those are the cheapest formals, and going all the way to Sunday, which is the most expensive. And Sunday's about 10 quid. So it's kind of like a nice meal out, so something you might take your parents to, or like, you know, for a birthday or something. And then I think the one on Wednesday is about 6 or 7 quid. So it's a few more pounds than like eating in hall. But personally, I think it's worth it, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, 10 quid for formal with wine, that's pretty good. That's a good deal. For Oxford, that's a very good deal.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, please tell us a bit about formal swapping.
Right, I was going to explain the context of like, come to my formal. So something I love to do is formal swap. So I want to try and get to as many formals at many different colleges, so I can like, you know, rate them, be like, they're clearly not as good as Magdalen's. And it's just such a nice way to like, if you meet somebody and they go to a different college, to just, you know, have a cheeky formal swap. Say like 1 week you'll bring them to like our Sunday formal, you can blow them out the water with our choir, our beautiful hall, you know, and then the next week you can get Brasenose.
This just feels like one Magdalen based flex, and I don't like where it's going.
No, but actually it's so interesting, I find, because I've been to like, obviously I enjoy my food, I don't know if that's been made clear, and like it's actually been really nice to like go to formal, because it's such a good way to kind of get the vibe of a college, I think. And like obviously Magdalen does come across as quite formal in that sense that like we wear black tie on Sundays, like the people at the tables obviously come from all walks and different backgrounds, we just enjoy a bit of dressing up sometimes, but it's so nice to like check out the vibe of other colleges. Like it might be a Magdalen flex, but I'm also a big fan of Brasenose, so thank you
very much. We're a big fan of you too, Sophie. So you're quite well travelled around the colleges and their vibes. Would you say Magdalen is quite traditional? You know, you've got your black tie formals, you've got your historic grounds.
I think like it's two minds, kind of like we have tradition, but that doesn't mean we're not really forward thinking, I think is how I put it. Like our buildings are like beautiful and traditional, and you know, we do have some like traditions. We have May morning, which is where the choir goes and sings from the top of our tower on I think at like 6 a.m. I've never woken up for it, hence the sleeping thing, but I will do it before I leave. I will. But so in that sense, like we have a lot of like the history of Oxford. We're a very old college. We have a lot of like beautiful old buildings and beautiful grounds. So in that sense, we're very traditional. But I say in terms of like how like the day-to-day life of the college operates, we're not traditional at all. Like our student body is super, super diverse, you know, so is our like faculty. You know, like I said, we've got a lot of money basically, which means that, you know, we can put a lot into, you know, access into our resources. You can take out, you know, I think our max, you know, book limit is like 1,000 books with like no library fees or that kind of thing. You know, I think I'm part of the JCR committee. So the JCR stands for kind of both the student body of undergraduates, but also the committee that like represents them to the like senior people up. And so for example, I'm the women's officer for the JCR. And I just think like that, obviously there's work to do, there's always work to do, but you know, it's so nice to be able to like represent such a lovely community of women. You know, we really celebrate it. We celebrated our 40th anniversary of having women at the college. And that kind of really, in that way, we're not traditional at all, you know. So I think it's that really lovely balance that I love, is that, you know, when I'm with my tutor, it's not like traditional chemistry learning, you know, it's like back and forth on the whiteboard, you know, that kind of thing. But then I can go to a formal hall and dress up and really enjoy the tradition.
Nice. Well, that sounds, yeah, like the perfect balance between the like new age and the sort of Oxford tradition that you might, you know, want to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me more about your role as women's officer though. That's so interesting.
So as women's officer, I try and kind of represent beautiful, that's not the right word, you know what I mean, like a really wonderful like diverse kind of community of women, and for anyone whose identity includes women as well. And we try and make it super intersectional. So we also have the racial and ethnic minority rep, who I try and work with. We have a strong LGBT community at Magdalen, you know, and that kind of thing. And we're trying to work with them and really make sure that every kind of woman feels seen and catered for within college. And that can really vary from kind of like massive structural changes that we want to make, you know, all the way down to like, if somebody wants to come talk to me about their experience of being a woman at Magdalen, like, I'm here, you know, I'm here to listen. I'm here to, you know, if somebody feels they want to approach it like a senior member of the college and they want, you know, some support because they're maybe approaching with a sensitive subject and they want somebody by their side, I can be there. And then kind of day to day, I run like, we run the gender equality. So
Nice.
Did you catch the pun?
Oxford is all about puns.
Oxford's all about the puns. Yeah.
You might think you come to like one of the most respected institutions in the world. There'll be fewer bad puns made.
There we go, exactly. Sense of like beautiful traditional grounds, but bad puns. That really sums it up.
Basically.
Exactly. So, you know, that's just kind of like free food, like come chat, you know, and that, it can be very advocacy based, but it's also just kind of nice to like hang out with people. And, you know, we're passing a lot of like, not legislature, but like, you know, when the, you know, JCR body wants to do something and tell the college to do something, or wants to get involved in this campaign or that campaign, like we have the student body that can like represent that and, you know, really make sure that they have somebody kind of on committee who's like devoted to doing advocacy for gender equality at Magdalen. And I love it. Like, it's a fantastic role. Like, it's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding, and it's really nice to be part of like a community that, like, whilst also loves Magdalen, I clearly do, like, is also always pushing for it to be a little bit better. Yeah, I think it's that balance.
No, well, that's what you do when you love a place like this. You want to make it the best it can be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. So can you like give me some examples of how you've done that? Like maybe motions you've passed in the JCR?
Let me see. Okay. So for example, this is an example where like it wasn't personally affecting like something under me, but I was using my experience. So in Freshers Week, we always hold sexual assault kind of awareness workshops and that kind of thing, and that's held by an external organisation. And so I was helping this year to make sure that we also have, you know, LGBT awareness workshops and ally workshops, as well as workshops, you know, supporting BAME students and that kind of thing. So I was making sure that I was helping using my advice from having, you know, helped out get these external people from sexual assault workshops to make sure that the same happens, for example, for workshops, you know, devoted to other aspects of equality and intersectionality at Magdalen. And like, that's an example of something I wouldn't have necessarily expected to get involved in, but I can use my expertise on that. We see other things, you know, I'm always making sure that we have like, we reimburse kind of sanitary products.
Nice.
Let me see. I'm really pushing, you know, we're part of the living wage campaign. Let me see. I think the free food is the most important bit, I'll be honest. Yeah, definitely. But also I'm trying to organise like bystander intervention training, you know, and I go to equality forums and pick up like the little things that I think might be affecting kind of women and how they feel seen around college. And that's, you know, bringing my own awareness, but mostly bringing other people's comments that they wanted to share, maybe, but they didn't want to, you know, maybe share themselves, or that maybe they're not, you know, they're so busy. Everyone's so busy, you know. So yeah, that's, for example, what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's amazing. Good for you. And it's so wonderful that like the college can provide you with that sort of forum, and you know is on board with these ideas and wants to become more aggressive. Yeah.
And one of the really exciting things is we're about to get a new president, so they're the most senior member in college, and it's Dinah Rose, who, I don't want to misquote this, but I'm fairly sure she's a human rights barrister. And it's so amazing because, like, you know, we pass on all of these things. She's like, yes, let's make this more inclusive. Let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, I'm here for the enthusiasm, you know. And I love Magdalen. I'm so excited to like see it grow even more, you know, in that sense. So it feels so nice to like feel your work is just really making a difference.
Yeah, when you can see yourself making an impact, then that's something really wonderful. Oh, fantastic. So you were saying like how inclusive you think Magdalen is, or at least making like a strong effort at becoming. How would you sort of rate their like access for disabled students, like, you know, in terms of like support from the college, and also like in terms of like literal mobility issues, like moving around Oxford buildings can be quite difficult sometimes?
Well, this is really interesting. So I'm a disabled student, and I also worked on. Hello. I'm not the only disabled student, and I also worked on the access. I was working on an access project to kind of map how accessible Oxford is for wheelchair and restricted mobility people with restricted mobility. So I suggest that you check that out. It's now on the college's website, so you know, go look that out if that's something you're concerned about. So in that sense, we've just passed like motion, and we're getting money from college to I'm fairly sure we're building a lift to make sure that everyone can access like our common social spaces. We have adapted rooms. So if you need to use, you know, like wheelchair adapted rooms on the ground floor, ramps, all that good stuff, like we have all of those. And like college will absolutely make sure that, you know, you're in the room that will fit your needs. And that's kind of like, for more physical disabilities, we definitely, you know, really try and work hard to cater for that. And we have a tutor for equality who also uses a wheelchair. So in that sense, like, you know, it's not, diversity really does go kind of all the way up from, you know, undergrads all the way up to, you know, really important staff members. And then I think on the more hidden disability side, we hosted like a hidden disability forum. And we have a fantastic disability rep who's done loads of good work for both, you know, wheelchair users, restricted mobility users, hidden disabilities, kind of all the different spectrum of what a disability can look like. So that's been fantastic. And it really goes in the vein of like, we have a big auditorium, we have access to lots of fantastic alumni, and we really can get some like fantastic speakers on to talk about like really progressive issues. And it's so exciting to like be able to talk to these people, for example, like, and having this talk on, you know, navigating Oxford with a hidden disability, for example. And then in terms of like other support, we have a counsellor who can offer if you're struggling with mental health, you just need to talk to somebody. We also have what's the name? We also kind of have a college advisor, you know, like a mentor who is, you know, less therapy based and more kind of like if you need help with study skills, you just want someone to talk to, and you don't really know who to turn to, like we have that as well. Magdalen helped direct me to the centralised disability service. So the disability service helped me kind of fill out some forms to make sure I was getting all like money I could get from the government, basically.
Nice, fantastic.
Absolutely. And it's always listened to me when I said, you know, I need this room with this kind of adaptation. And my tutors are aware of my disability, and they've always been super, you know, they've always been super good about it. For example, if I have to rearrange a tute because I have a doctor's appointment, they're always like, yeah, you go do it. And I've taken quite a lot of time off during my studies because I've been ill, or I've been too exhausted to come to a tutorial, and they've always been super, super helpful in just like helping me navigate that. And I really feel like they're on my side with that, which has been fantastic, you know. And it's such a good culture to have in college, I think, as well. Obviously there's always more we can do. True. But we are trying to do good stuff.
No, but that's great that you felt the support has been both, you know, in terms of like mentoring and counselling, and also like practically and academically.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't feel like you've been left behind in any way then?
Not at all. And I think that was definitely something I was worried about, and I also couldn't find that much information about, you know, when I was applying to Magdalen, but the support is absolutely there, you know, regardless of whether you need like physical support, you know, mental health support, financial support, it's all there, you know. And there were also people who, if you're turning and you're kind of panicking, you're like, I don't know what to do, you know, we have students who are peer support trained, so they're there to kind of help and direct you if you just need somebody to talk to, you know, and they're like, everybody is there to help you every kind of step of the way and make sure you're getting the support that you need, because fundamentally, like, we just want you to succeed, you know, and like, we're going to try and get rid of as many barriers as possible to that success, because that's the way it should be.
No, certainly. I think a lot of what you hear is like Oxford life is super fast paced. You've got to keep on it all the time. But no, that's wonderful to hear that like you don't have to if you cannot.
I cannot. That's the thing. And I think like, you know, and I think I also want to say like the culture, I have to say, you know, Magdalen people and, you know, the friends I've made has also, you know, there's also that culture of like understanding, like, I'm not going to be out clubbing every night, I'll be honest, you know, because I need my sleep. It's super important to me. I need to take my medication on time. You know, I need this delivered and that delivered. And my friends, you know, when I step down at 9 p.m, I'm like, I need to go to bed. They're like, oh, you know, have a good night. You know,
delightful. We love an absence of peer pressure.
Absolutely, you know, and that kind of understanding that, especially with hidden disabilities, which I think, you know, have taken a bit longer to like come to the fore. There's a lot of understanding at Magdalen about that, definitely.
Nice. Oh, that's so fantastic to hear. Magdalen, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So I want to chat to you a bit now about being, a STEM student, a chemistry student at Oxford and at Magdalen. But just before we do, I would like to take a second. You've done your plug, I've got mine. It's going to drop in about our book, The Oxbridge Formula, for if you too one day want to be a chemistry student at Magdalen, or indeed any other sort of STEM student. We have advice on admissions tests, and more student experiences just like the fantastic Sophie's. And you can find that in the link below. So, Sophie, you say the chemistry faculty at Magdalen are modern, you find them to be super progressive. Can you tell me a bit about your experience doing chemistry at Magdalen?
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's my life.
That is Oxford through and through.
Oh yeah. You know this, like, so it's a very heavy course, like regardless of what college you're in, obviously, you know, it's very centralized around the department, which is actually really nice because it means there's a lot of consistency. You never feel like you're left behind because you're at one college. But obviously Magdalen pips the post in that because one of our tutors is, for example, the head of physical chemistry.
Nice, that helps.
That helps. So like, you know, if I'm thinking about maybe like a typical week for a chemistry student, you know, I'll have lectures 9 to 11 every single day, which shocks some humanities students, I have to say.
I like to start at 11. I'm lazy.
Oh, the bliss. No, and you get used to it. You know, you get used to it. My friends like drag me out of bed and I'm like, let me have my coffee. You know, before
Is Magdalen quite close to the chemistry faculty? Is that an easy
Yes, this is one of the reasons I picked Magdalen. I confess, is because I know how I am in the morning, and it's
you know your limits. That's fair.
Absolutely. So it's about a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, kind of depending on where you live, or a 7-minute walk if you're really late. And a lot of people
is walking.
Yeah. And a lot of people ride bikes as well, and with a bike I assume it's really quick. I don't personally ride a bike, but I assume it's really quick because, you know, I tend to leave like 5 minutes before my mate's cycling and he just like sails past me on the way there. So recommend a bike if you feel comfortable with that. But yeah, it's really close, and that's really nice because I know people can like you can be in a college that's quite far away from your faculty, and I'd also recommend
name and shame that. Don't worry about it.
Well, what I recommend is that take a look not only at where the faculty is, but where lectures happen as well.
Oh, big brain moment.
Because some of my friends, like they technically live close to the faculty, but it turns out that they have lectures like in another building on the other side of town. You know, I'm like, that's not been a problem for me, but I'm like, oh, I'm just going to leave my lectures now, you know, 10 to 9. And they're like, I had to leave half an hour ago. So do check that. But yeah, that was really important for me. It's I live close, and I do live close, which is fantastic. And the other thing is, because we live close, we have fantastic tutors. We have quite a few people doing chemistry, so it's kind of between 6 and 9 people in every year, which is like the perfect number. You know, if you want to like, so we're super tight. You know, you make like really good friends. You know, that you always have somebody who has your back through like essay crises, problem sheet crises, many crises. That's through our own like bad time management. That's like not a reflection. I know people who've managed it well, and then I know people like me who spend too much time making risotto. So
And was it not a good risotto? That's a
it was a
chemical
fantastic
reaction, probably. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Oxford chemistry, everybody.
Absolutely. I think I know things. Yeah.
Nice.
I know.
And so say you want to get your study on, you want to learn what exactly happens in a risotto when you make it. Tell me about the Magdalen Library. What is that like? Do you study there a lot?
Yeah. So I, basically after 11, I'll either have labs. So
11
labs
a.m.,
are
just to put it out there in the schedule.
11 a.m. After 11 a.m, I normally have labs until 5 p.m. You're quite right.
Yeah.
We're not that crazy. So that happens twice a week normally, and you get a week off like every so often.
Oh.
And it's actually, labs are actually pretty chill. I'm just gonna put that out there. So I really enjoy them. And then like if I'm not in labs, then I might head back to college, and the Magdalen Library is fantastic. Or I might just like head to another library around Oxford, just for a change of scene. But I do really love the Magdalen Library. We have loads of like study carrels. Like I know that some colleges don't have enough room. We have enough room, But like it is so nice. Like the library is huge, and like it was recently redone. And like as a like I'm talking about disability, like everything has like wheelchair powered, like those doors that are powered, like disabled bathrooms and that kind of good stuff. And we have like a couple of floors. Like pretty much every chemistry book I've needed has been in that library, which is super nice.
Excellent.
So, and it's open 24 hours, which is fantastic. No late library loans. They'll just email you and be like, please return the book. They'll ask nicely. But, because we have a lot of books, like there's very rarely a point. You can just like renew it constantly because it's really unlikely that someone else will need it. If they don't have a copy of the book that you need in the library, just like ask and they'll like buy it for you.
Nice.
Which is nice. And we also have a book grant as well. So you can get, I think, like £100 or £75 back, like on any books you have to buy for your course as well, which is super nice. Yeah, I love working in the library. It's like quiet and chill and warm, and like there are different floors. Like people have their like favorite spot. I don't know, is this a thing? But like I have my favorite spot. I have my favorite spot. Well, it depends on the vibe. If it's like I need to get down to business, my favorite spot. Absolutely. My favourite spot was on the top floor, because on the top floor, like we have like the desks are all kind of arranged like in the middle, so you can see each other, which means that I can't procrastinate because then everyone will see me on Facebook.
Accountability. Nice.
Absolutely. Whereas like if I'm like ready for like a deep study sesh, but without like the panic, then like there are loads of like little nooks and crannies that are like with massive desks, like spread out all my stuff, set up for the next 12 hours, and just like have a good time, put on my headphones.
Nice.
Those are like isolated, no one can see me, so that's also important. So
yeah, catch Sophie a book gremlin in the Magdalen Library now.
Absolutely. And the good thing is because the scientists, we're off at 9 a.m. lectures. The humanities students tend not to get up until midday. So if you catch it at 11, this is true.
Don't hit me with reality, Sophie. That's mean.
So if you get in there at 11, you have like the pick of the bunch for the seats, in the library.
Nice. Hey, a big college library is not to be underestimated. I know in Brasenose there is a bit of fight for space, so that is really lovely.
Minimal fighting happens, like minimal fighting, and it's just it's so nice in there. Like I know that some colleges have like dingy libraries, but like ours is recently redone, and it was redone like into the old chapel, I think, so you still have like all the beautiful old architecture, but on the inside it's like really light and warm and cozy.
Wait, again, the best of both worlds. I think I'm seeing a theme here.
That's going to be the tagline.
As a title now. Speaking of though, having a lot of space is something Magdalen is sort of infamous for. People know Magdalen as the big one next to the bridge.
Yeah, we have a deer park. We have 2 deer parks.
We would like to point out this is not like the Brasenose Deer Park, which is a bit of lawn. This is an actual park with some deer in.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, we are a bit infamous for that. So if you look at Magdalen, we're like a little bit outside kind of the main central area, and it's really funny because like I think in Oxford terms they're like, Magdalen's so far away. It's like 5 minutes walk, folks. It's 5 minutes. Like I've never felt like I've never felt out of the way. There are way more out of the way colleges that exist. Just but but we're a little bit removed, which means we have so much like land, and we have like a summer deer park and a winter deer park with actual deer,
of course.
And it's beautiful, and they're like lovely and friendly deer. And it's actually super nice because we also have our own punts. We're by a river, so you never have to pay for your own punts, so you can go out punting in the summer, which is such a Oxford thing, I feel.
Truly.
And we have like bonfire night on like the playing fields kind of in the back of the college, and like we have this beautiful what's called Addison's Walk, which is a walk around one of the deer parks, and I think it's about a mile, so it's like such a popular like running track, or you just want to like have a breather, exactly, like if you're taking some time out your day from the library or from studying, you just want to like get out into nature. It's like right there, and it's like beautiful and serene and full of like cute animals and such. It's so nice. Yeah,
beautiful. Do you spend a lot of time in the gardens?
Absolutely. And I think like it's the thing that everyone else like says, because you also don't expect it, because we have like quite high walls, and you walk in and there are just deer there, just like munching away, and we like these beautiful gardens, and these beautiful old buildings, and it is just stunning. Like it's such a beautiful college. I'm like having full on like college love right now. It is so beautiful.
Out of term time and we're missing it.
I know, I miss it so much. Like it is just such a beautiful college. And like it's so cool. Like you're walking in the morning, you walk past like the deer, you're like, you walk into this beautiful old building to like, have your tutorial, and like I live here. This is fantastic.
This is mine. Yeah. We own this. All of them.
All of them. Yeah, no. But I would say in that sense, like we definitely like have the best ground, like undoubtedly. If you're into like just beautiful places, come to Magdalen, I'd say, because it is just stunning. Yeah,
I cannot deny that. It is gorgeous. I bet as well, with having like so much space, the Magdalen Ball must be insane.
I know, I'm so sad, obviously because of the Rona, it's gotten cancelled.
Oh no, is it meant to be this year?
Yeah, but I really hope they're postponing it, because I really want to have like a ball. I really want to go to Magdalen Ball. It is famous.
How often are they? Are they every 3 years apart?
Or... I don't know.
I don't know. Google it. All is well.
Yeah, because they're like the white tie. I know some colleges have a ball like every other year, and they're like black tie. Ours are like the super fancy white tie balls. And like I think it's the commemoration ball that only a couple of colleges have, like the super old ones, and we're one of those colleges.
Can you explain like what that is quickly? Mostly to me, because I realised I don't know. I'm following like 4 of them on Facebook.
What do I know about commemoration ball? All I know is it's like it can, it's basically just fancy. Like we get some like super big headliners in. Like before the ball got cancelled, we were going to have Clean Bandit as our headliner, which is going to be such a throwback.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, like I'm kind of living for it in a weird way, and we have like like classical music, like pop, that kind of stuff, but everybody's in white tie. I don't know if people go for the gloves nowadays, but like definitely people like get an evening dress and heels, and like all the guys are in like penguin suits and stuff. And it's just like it's gorgeous. We get the fairy lights out, and like I don't really know, like a commemoration ball is just like the super fancy like top tier ball basically. So if you want to have like a top tier ball experience, Magdalen's Ball.
Come to Magdalen, or go to Stanford with someone from Magdalen and get them to sneak you in riding a deer.
Yeah, that's how it's done. I mean, they are only like that big, but we can do it. It'll be fine.
I'll be on that Corona diet. All will be well. Nice. Oh, I so hope you get to go to one somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Well, I do know that if like they have promised that I'll like invite alumni back if people graduate without having a chance to go to one. So It will happen, which I'm pleased to hear, because
there will be a part 2, Sophie.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I will return just for one night. Yeah.
One night only. Couldn't help it. So, big balls aside, how about like termly bops? I hear Magdalen bops are quite an event. There have been stories.
There have been stories. I think like I would sum up Magdalen as very much like a work hard, play hard college. That's not to say, I want to make it very clear, like I speak as someone who like doesn't go out that much. Like there is so much socializing beyond like having a good time at a party. Like there is so much beyond that, and that's something I was worried about coming to a college. like coming to university in general, really. But yeah, we are fairly well known. So we have bops like 3 times a term, I think 4 times a term. They're a little bit legendary. We know how to have a good time, basically.
This is true.
Have you been to one? You can confirm.
I didn't make it. We were planning this cancelled Trinity term.
Oh, right. You'll have to. I'll get you into a bop for Michaelmas. Like, if they happen, I don't socially distance bops. I don't know, but like, yeah, they're a good time, you know. And like, everyone just kind of has a good time. Like, a lot of people will go out clubbing afterwards, but like, I know so many people who just like kind of go for a few hours. They're quite early. Like they're like 9 to 11 p.m. or like 9 to 12. So there's like time to go out clubbing afterwards, or, you know, in my case, time to go to bed. And, you know, we don't so we have like a bar, and our bops take place in the bar because the bar is big enough. It's a little bit crowded. And we go quite hard on like the costumes and like having a good time.
Yes, all bops are fancy dress. It's important that you know there is always a theme. Do you remember
always a theme?
Bop themes?
Absolutely, and bop themes are very important and must be adhered to. Not strictly, but
Give
you
me
know,
some
it
past
helps with the
Magdalen
vibe.
Bop themes. What are some past costumes you've rocked?
Ooh, past costumes. For some reason, I always remember my first bop because that was Under the Sea. We have a Halloween bop where I ended the night with like a tinfoil hat that was meant to be like a which I didn't start, you know, the bop with. What other costumes? Oh, you know, I'm probably not respected for my costumes, I'll be honest. I once went like Anything But Clothes, that famous bop. Yeah, so I went with a couple of plastic bags.
Ooh.
Taped, and I had a lot of like do not cross tape, you know, those like police tape lines. And I basically just taped myself into a plastic bag, and that was how I spent the night. You know, I had a really fantastic time. Yeah, it was an interesting one, but it's kind of amazing because like my friend is like so artistically talented, and all the rest of us were like in bin bags having a good time, and she made this like beautiful dress out of like plastic bags. It was crazy. So I say that it's like a lot of variation. Some people go very, very hard on the costumes, and some people like me take themselves into a plastic bin bag and have a good time.
Hey, it worked. It fit the theme. Plastic fantastic. Delightful.
Absolutely.
What's like the best bob costume you can remember?
Of anyone?
Yeah, anyone. Just one that like stands out as like you went hard and it paid off.
Oh. I remember, well, the Chemist in the Above, and he's a fantastic drag queen. And he turned up like as the Ice Queen at the end of term, and I was just like, his makeup was so on point, I could not believe. What other? Oh my gosh! Somebody turned up in a canoe once.
Do you remember the theme?
I don't remember the theme. No, I don't remember the theme, but I remember the canoe. I don't know if the canoe made it through the night, I'll be honest. Yeah, our Halloween bops are normally pretty good. Like people like that's when people's makeup skills for like face paint really comes to the fore. You know, that was fantastic. I think the canoe. I'm gonna say the canoe. Like, it wasn't the most artistic, but it was definitely memorable. And I don't. Yeah, I remember the canoe.
Like an actual canoe or like a paper canoe they made?
No, it was a paper. Well, no, I think it was one of those plastic. You know, you can get like blow up plastic canoes.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those.
Wow. That is dedication.
We know how to have a good time. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. Do you have any like favourite bop stories you think people would like to hear?
Favourite bop stories? You know, I don't... I mean, I don't... Nothing really stands out, I don't think. I think that people like... I always go to a bop knowing I'm going to have a good time. You know? Nice. They follow the same format, which is kind of like a load of cheesy music with your mates dressed in like silly costumes. And it's honestly quite a tried and tested formula. Like, I don't think you can go wrong with that. So in that sense, I don't have like any like crazy bop stories. There were quite a few bops during Freshers Week. which is very important. And as a freshers rep, so I was a freshers rep last year.
Oh, wow.
So I got to run like the freshers bob, and that was so much fun. You're like, you know, because obviously we make it like a super welcoming environment, to be clear. But I remember I was in like my gaudy like freshers helper t-shirt, and it was bright yellow, and I was like, I was thinking, because I had to be sober, like I normally drink, and I was thinking, I'm not gonna have a good time, like I'm here to like, you know, look after the freshers, which obviously was my main duty. Like I'm dressed in like a bright yellow t-shirt, and I just remember I had such a good night.
Aww.
You know, even just because like it is just like people are just friendly, like even though people didn't even know each other, like we do create that like safe environment. Like we have a breakout area, which is run by a welfare team. So if anybody, you know, needs to, maybe needs to sober up a little bit, or maybe so they have like water and bread and kind of things, and or maybe if you're like panicking a bit, or you just want some like time out and some space, like we have that. So like you never feel kind of like stuck in this environment if it's not like you, like if it's not really your thing, and like loads of different people go to bops. Like it's very different vibe to a nightclub, if that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, it's so great to hear that there are like, you know, there are options if you don't drink and you're not super into the party. You can still go and have a good time and socialise.
Absolutely. Like we have plenty of people who like don't drink. You know, the bar will always serve like soft drinks, water, like, you know, and I've gone to plenty of bops like without drinking. You know, I've even gone to a bop and then gone back to like finish a problem sheet. Like that's, you know, you can just go and have a good time.
Nice.
It is quite a strong move, I think. Yeah, to go and finish it. You know, but I'm thinking, you know, I've got to finish that calculus. But you know, have a break for a few hours and like, you know, have a good boogie. So
nice. And is there a Magdalen College cocktail you would recommend?
There is a Magdalen College cocktail, and personally I would not recommend it.
Hot take. Do tell me why.
It's called the Longwall iced tea. I'm not really a spirits person. Okay, that's unfair. Would I recommend it? If you like spirits, then absolutely go ahead and drink this thing. I think we're formulating a new cocktail, I think, because it hasn't got the best feedback in the world.
Because it's not nice, or because people tend to collapse after drinking it?
There are a lot of shots in it, which is not a bad thing. Like, it's a very cheap way. You know, in that sense, it's a fantastic cocktail. I would say, personally, I don't find it that drinkable. Which I hate to say this, that's the kind of signature thing about college cocktails, because in order to be unique, you need to have like a non-tried and tested formula, and I've never had a good college cocktail.
No,
is Brasenose any?
We recently got one actually, this year, 2020. After our principal, John Bowers QC, it's the JB iced tea.
Is it good?
Again,
Would you recommend
it? Return. It's just like a Long Island iced tea.
Well, we have a Long Wall iced tea. To explain, we're on Long Wall Street, and our wall is called the Long Wall.
Oh, that's inventive. Wow. Who came up with that?
Yeah.
Probably a chemistry student.
It's a long-standing tradition. Like, we've had it much longer than I've been at the university. So
as long as the wall?
Maybe. I can't imagine them having like 15th century bops though, but maybe they did.
We don't know. They could have turned up all the way back then. Magdalen, a progressive institution, as we have learned.
It was absolutely, yeah. So
yeah, it's been a little while since we've all been at college now, because this is being recorded in the start of July 2020. Corona times are thick and heavy upon us. What do you miss most about college?
The people. It's the classic, I think. You know, obviously I miss the grounds. They're beautiful. I miss seeing my tutors in person. But I think the nicest thing about Magdalen is we're quite a big college, but that doesn't mean we have like a really strong community. Like, because we all live on site kind of all 4 years, or however long your degree is, like you see the same people around. You're never gonna like miss people who have to live out in that year. You know, you meet people from all different subjects constantly. You're all bumping into each other, like at the hall, the library. Maybe we've all gone to a walk at Addison's, and I just really miss that like lovely sense of community. And I've met some like fantastic people. You know, different subjects, different backgrounds. You know, completely different ideas to me even, and like people I would not have kind of expected that I would really get on with. We might have a massive difference in opinion, but people are just lovely. And that's the thing which I really miss personally, is just like bumping into all these like people and just hanging out. you know, having, you know, hanging out in the bar, just getting a drink and a pizza. We had pizza at the bar. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's very important.
Oh, wow. Like just on special occasions or all the time?
No. They serve pizza.
Oh my God. Okay.
So, you know, you can get like, yeah, exactly. That's what I miss, is like going to the bar, like having a pizza with a few mates, just like chilling after a day in the library, you know. And in that sense, it is just lovely. Like the porters are always smiling. People are, you know, the tutors are around to like always help. Everyone's on site. So in that sense, that's what I really miss the most, is just kind of having that lovely community.
Yeah, that. Aw. That's so nice to hear. There you go. The best review of a college to say that you actually want to go back there. Delightful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the second they're like, you can come back to college now, I will be there. And I bet you most people will as well. That's the thing.
And that's not just because Sophie has left literally all of her belongings there.
I've also done that. And you know this. Yeah, I misjudged that. So yeah, I've been doing some very interesting work without any of my notes.
Crumbs. Truly the Oxford mind at work. No notes, no worries.
No notes, you know, no notes, no worries. I mean, Wikipedia is a wonderful thing. But I will say that's one of the good things, is the chemistry, you know, lectures are being recorded and all our lecture notes are online and all that good stuff. So you know, it hasn't been a total disaster. Yeah.
Good, they're taking care of you. This is nice to hear.
Absolutely, yeah. Who knew that online labs were a thing, but now they're a thing.
Wow, that is impressive. We may have to come back and do like a chemistry interview and talk about that. That sounds fascinating.
Sure.
She's here. You are not obliged to do that. That's fine. Okay, I have one more question about Magdalen. What would you say, you know, to someone who's looking at colleges and they want, you know, perhaps accommodation all 4 years and a 24-hour library, and like 10 can offer that? What makes Magdalen unique?
What makes Magdalen unique? The community. I'm going to say that again, because it is fantastic. Our attitude, we're quite academic. If people have heard of the Norrington table, we tend to be kind of up there. But our attitude is like very much like we care about doing good work, and that's a lot because like we have like a good community around us, good resources, and like we know how to like let off steam as well. So in that sense, like it's, if you want to be like at a college that's like quite academic but also super social, that can offer all these bursaries, you never have to like worry about, you know, your financial situation, or if you need to stay over the vacation, you'll always be able to, like something like that. And then also just the grounds, like it is just gorgeous. And when you're thinking like, where do I want to spend like 3 or 4 years in your life, and like being in a nice place matters to you, like that, it matters to me. Like I don't, you know, when you're spending like 24 weeks a year on this site, like it's important to me that it's like, it looks good. And it does, like it is just gorgeous. We have all these walks, we have nature, we have all these beautiful historic buildings. Like you have so much tradition in that sense, and then you have like the really progressive side of our community. And like for me, that's just been like the wonderful marriage of the two. And so I say, if that's what you're looking for, like, you know, a rich kind of big college with loads of history and tradition, but also like a really lovely progressive community, then I say Magdalen is absolutely like the best college for that.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for that, Sophie. You have done a fantastic job of selling Magdalen to everyone listening. I promise she is not being paid. This is Sophie's own and genuine opinion.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and talking. If you would like to hear more about the Oxbridge formula and the resources we have on offer, you can check out our website, the link is down below, and our blog, where you'll hear more student experiences just like Sophie about what it's like being an Oxford student. You can also check out our book, The Oxbridge Formula, and find us on Facebook, The Oxbridge Formula, and on Instagram, The Oxbridge Formula. Thank you.